What is up, my friends? Welcome to the third edition of the USFL Week in Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor of USFL NewsHub. And on this week's show, the USFL announces all 8 teams' coaching staff. Training camps begin tomorrow, plus some schedule updates and some other fun stuff. So thanks for joining the show. Make sure if you like football, then smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, put on the notifications. Let's grow this channel like crazy when it comes to the USFL because we are 26 days. Is that correct? Till USFL kickoff. What is up, my friends? Welcome to the show. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, email podcast at USFL News Hub with your thoughts or record an MP3 or leave a video on your phone. We'll play it on next week's show. You can leave a voicemail, 888-430-7692, extension 3. Now you get USFL News Hub, USFL Week in Review on all your podcast stuff, Stitcher, Audible, Player FM, Amazon Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Definitely leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. I need to change that image. And we are live 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. USFL Week in Review, 8 p.m. Our timeline actually is wrong. I forgot to change it on here. Is it 26 days till USFL kickoff? Training camp is tomorrow. That's right, my friends. Training camp is tomorrow with the big kickoff April 16th of 2022. Very excited about that. So what do we got up for? We've got the news. Plus, we're going to talk about NewsHub Fantasy. That's right, NewsHub Fantasy, where you can go right now and sign up and start your own league, join another league. There's a lot of private leagues. We'll take a look at some new features that were added to this thing as well. Plus, get to your social media stuff and so much more. So, my friends, without further ado, let's just get into the week that was the USFL. First up, the USFL announces all 8 teams' coaching staffs. Lots of names here. So 8 teams are set to begin opening training camp tomorrow. Of course, this league kicks off on the 16th. Head coaches each will have 6 official coaching positions and 2 team assistants, many of whom will handle multiple responsibilities for each of the 45-player roster. USFL team staffs have strong backgrounds in coaching football in the fall and spring, from the NFL, NCAA, CFL to NFL Europe, the UFL to AAF. There is a wide variety. Notice they don't mention anything about the XFL. Experiences to help the USFL's 360 total players prepare for the upcoming inaugural season. Quotes just for football, blah, 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 from Moose Johnson. So here we go with some of the coaches. Of course, they talk about ticket sales, etc. So the Birmingham Stallions has Skip Holtz. Corey Chamberlain would be the DBs. Josh Chavis, Jonathan Himbach, he was in the XFL. Bill Johnson, defensive line. Mike Jones, wide receiver with some CFL background. And Larry Kurtze was with the XFL and Spring League as well. So that takes that league. And you notice not as many coaches as a normal franchise either. Houston Gamblers, Kevin Sumlin, of course, the head coach. Tim Beattie is wide receivers. DB is Tim Lewis. He was with the AF Birmingham and St. Louis Battlehawks. Greg McMahon will be your special teams tight end. Gordon Shaw, offensive line. Mark Snyder, linebackers. Darren Warden, DL, and Brendan Donovan and James Russell will be team assistants. Nolans Breakers of Larry Fedora. Nathan Burton will be, I don't know what that SEC is. Noel Mazzone is a quarterbacks coach, worked with the NFL. Paul Spicer was the defensive line, was with Jacksonville and Tampa. Jonathan Tuna, CB Tenuta, a defensive coordinator, linebackers, Maryland, Virginia Tech, yeah, go Hokies. Jim Turner, offensive line. Patrick Washington will be your wide receivers coach, and Matt Butterfield and Greg Patrick will the team assistants. Tampa Bay Bandits, my team. Todd Haley, of course, is your head coach. You have him. Frank Ganitz Jr., Trey Jackson with the linebackers. Carnell Lake, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Pepper Johnson from the XFL days, Pat Peerless, Bob Saunders with the DC Defenders, and Stephen Thompson and Yale Van Dyne, wide receivers, running back. Jeff Fisher, of course, of the Michigan Panthers. Neil Callaway, offensive line. Daryl Carroll, defensive coordinator. Jeff Amura, DB and special teams. Eric Marty, offensive coordinator. Quan Drake, defensive line. And Tony Brown and Mark Stewart ran in team assistants. Something Fisher said in an interview that he tried to bring in other guys, but was getting knocked because they were getting NFL jobs. Mike Riley, New Jersey Generals head coach. Robert DeCaio, defensive line. Chris Dishman was with the XFL New York franchise. Jay Losi, tight end running backs coach. James Rogers, he's with the AAF San Antonio. Steve Smith, AFL Detroit, XFL Seattle, offensive coordinator and offensive line. Ken Watson, linebackers, was with the AAF San Antonio's. Zurich Rollins, Dominic Franks rounds out team assistants. Bart Andrews, Philadelphia Stars. He was with the USFL, UFL, CFL, all sorts of different stuff. Martin Bayless, cornerback, special teams. Marcel Bellefleur, wide receiver. He was in the UFL. Offensive line, Jeff Jadaginski. He was with the ELF and the XFL. Brandon McGuire, defensive line. Brad Miller, defensive coordinator, was at Edmonton, Montreal, Hamilton, Saskatchewan, a CFL guy. Glenn Smith, tight end, with Dallas, and then Brock Alvio and George Jackson. Team assistants, Pittsburgh Maulers. Kirby Wilson's team, Rick Courtwright, defensive line. Jaron Horton, defensive coordinator, and DB's coach, Mark Hall. Special teams and linebackers. Bill Kyatt, it would be tight ends, UFL guy, another UFL guy. Stephen Loney, offensive line and tight end as well. And John Tomlinson will be offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach with Will Johnson, Jack Nudo. That runs out your USFL coaching staff. Not huge staffs, trying to keep the numbers down. You've got guys with experience in the NFL, college football, CFL, XFL, AAF. So plenty of experience to go around. We'll see how things turn out as training camp opens tomorrow. With games not too far away, the USFL released its Week 3 schedule, which features an April 30th doubleheader on Fox. Now, remember, Major League Baseball is coming back also April 9th, I believe. So it'll be just before. So it's really, I'm so fascinated to see how these ratings do, between Major League Baseball and the USFL, how the games do. We're going to have to, it will be very fascinating to check this out. So the new USFL, United States Football League, announced today dates and start times, locations, and telecast schedule for the Week 3 games. Remember, we have a schedule all laid out on USFL NewsHub, and we update the times as they release them. The USFL every Monday-ish will release the next week's schedule and on where they will be. So it's almost kind of this couple weeks behind flex schedule as we go through the season. So you got the Tampa Bay Bandits at Houston Gamblers will be Saturday at 4 o'clock. And Pittsburgh Maulers and Michigan Panthers will be Saturday night at 8 p.m. And then on Sunday, you get the Breakers and Stallions at 2:30, and then New Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars at 8 p.m. night. You're talking prime time games. That game will, of course, be on Peacock, though the two other games will be on Fox, and the other one will be on the USA Network. Fascinating to see how all this plays out. Protective Stadium will host all 4 weekend games in Week 3. The schedule features 2 North Division primetime rivalries, Pittsburgh at Michigan, and we talked about that. First, as well, so the New Jersey taking on Philadelphia and the Turnpike Rumble on Sunday, May 1st on Peacock, the first of the streaming service's 4 exclusive presentations of the season. That's also, a primetime Sunday night. Those numbers we'll never be able to see. South Division rivalries are featured during the days as Tampa Bay faces Houston on Saturday and Nolens and Birmingham on Sunday. Week 3 game assignments came earlier than anticipated. Typically, the league will announce game assignments no later than the Monday 2 weeks prior. Week 4 specifics are expected to be announced Monday, April 23rd, Week 5 specifics on May 2nd. So I was surprised too to see that this week 3 kind of came out also. Thought that was kind of strange. Specific dates, times, and locations are set for week 1 through 3, and all 40 regular season teams versus matchups in Birmingham are listed below. So they have the matches. It's just the times, etc. USFL inaugural season kicks off on April 16th at 7:30 p.m. at Protective Stadium. Primetime matchup pits up the New Jersey Generals against the Birmingham Stallions, presented live on Fox and NBC and Peacock. All regular season tickets will be single day, allow entry all day long. Could you imagine all that football and all that alcohol consumed by people that love that stuff? As that's where it goes. The top 2 teams in the North and South will battle for 2 playoff semifinal games Saturday, June 25th, and the divisional winners will match up for the first ever USFL championship game on July 3rd. All 3 preseason games will be played at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio, which will be a lot of fun. So you got the Saturday game, the 16th, starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and then you have Sunday games at 12, 4, and 8. NBC, USA, and FS1. Lots of fun that weekend. It's going to be a crazy weekend of football as the USFL goes to start their training camp tomorrow. Something the USFL had talked about, they're actually holding a youth football skills clinic March 26th and 27th. So the USFL holds to its promise to work with the local community in Birmingham, Alabama. The league will have a youth football skills clinic at the end of the month. The USFL announced the clinic will take place at Legion Field on March 26th and 27th. Players are reporting to camp on March 22nd. Quote, the skills clinics will focus on developing youth ages 5 to 13. The clinic will consist of 2 hours of instruction with players and coaches of the Birmingham Stallions. Very cool. Students will learn from experienced coaching staff and players to teach individual team drills on both offense and defense. Players and coaches will train and prepare students to be a better, more confident football player. So registrations at the 26th, Saturday, that's 10 a.m. to 12, and then Sunday from 1 to 3. Your kid can register for the football clinic. We have a link on the website. You can also scan the barcode. This is all legit. When we saw it come out, I was like, wait a second, we don't know. But you got giveaways and lunch provided, lots of fun. So if your kid loves football and you live around the Birmingham area, go out and check out this youth football clinic, something the XFL did not do. That from what I'm aware of, they didn't really do these kind of things. But this is a fantastic thing for fans to get involved with, especially if you live in Birmingham. All right, we all know that gambling is part of the reason why the resurgence of the XFL and USFL, as there's a lot of money. Just ask what's going on with March Madness. So with the sports gambling, a big part of the USFL's business model, the league seems to also want to make sure fans are safe when they do it. And according to Bill King of the Sports Business Journal, the USFL has joined forces with the American Gaming Association. So they sign on to promote responsible sports gaming, blah, blah, blah. So Sports Gaming Association is a United States gaming industry association. It was founded in 1994, with the goal of promoting, educating, and lobbying on behalf of the gaming entertainment industry through education and advocacy. The AGA's office are located in Washington, D.C. You go over to their website, haveagameplan.org, and it states the expansion of legal sports betting in the United States offers sports fans the opportunity to engage with their favorite teams and leagues in a new and fun way. Have a Game Plan provides tools and resources to help you play safely and responsibly. The USFL then put out a press release talking about the relationship. So basically what they're saying, it was launched in 2019. A Have a Game Plan campaign promotes 4 principles for responsible sports wagering. Set a budget, stick to it. Keep it social, know the odds, play with trusted regulated operators. The USFL joins campaign partners across sports media and sports wagering landscape, including Barstool, Sportsbook, BetMGM, Delaware North, DraftKings, Entain, FanDuel Global Payments, MGM Resorts, MSG Networks, NASCAR, Knicks, Jets, Rangers, Sinclair Broadcasting, UFC, Golden Knights, Washington Commanders. You get the picture. So just something that was just a nice kind of thing. Make sure, part of the whole thing, we still haven't found out what's going to happen with DraftKings when it comes to this. We know we have NewsHub Fantasy, which you're not gambling in that. You're just playing fantasy football. But I bet you the spot for Fox Bet app, Fox One Sports app, whatever it's called, will be heavily involved in USFL betting for the season. All right, we'll be back with your social media stuff right after this. Stay tuned, my friends.
Coming up this week on the Markcast, will the real USFL please stand up? This weird debate. Hey guys, big show coming up this week on the Markcast. We have part 2 of our Law and Order meets all football version of the Markcast. We are talking all the USFL declarations, Fox, going toe to toe with the real USFL. What does that all mean? We have a new trademark and IP lawyer, Tim Billick, joining the show to break all that down.
It's kind of curious to see how the plaintiff here is trying to set up, what they consider to be a use of their marks. I mean, it's black letter trademark law 101 that you only get your trademark rights if you're actually using the dang mark.
Then, the world is collapsing around the CFL fans. Are we moving to 4 downs? I guess we're doing this narrative again. Lots of other questions about CFL marketing or a drive to survive. Is that the way we need to go in terms of building new fan bases for the CFL? We have a longtime friend of the show, Jason Greger, coming back on.
Randy Ambrosi, he can talk about it all he wants. The CFL needs to focus on what they do well and what's exciting about their game. The assumption that 4 down football is automatically more exciting is based on what?
And then we're rounding out your coverage with a couple player interviews. We have Solomon Wise of the USFL Philadelphia Stars.
It just means a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot that this organization and the league was looking at me as one of, a linebacker so they can premiere. It's very humbling.
And Andrew Pearson of America's CFL team, the BC Lions, stopping by the program.
The thing about this sport is it's not forgiving, and you have a couple bad days or anything like that, you never know what could happen. So I want to leave every day knowing that I gave my best, control to I control, and in all aspects representing the BC Lions, in the community, anything like that. I want to know that while I've had this opportunity, I want to fulfill everything I can do every single day.
Plus, we have Major League Football news this week. The USFL has announced all of their coaching staffs. Lots of fun things to talk about, lots of fun things to ruminate about. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on your podcast platform of choice, and thanks for watching.
All right, we are back, and I am wearing my Birmingham Bandits hat, as you can see, trying to work that in. That's my team. Stock Speed Tech says, who is your second favorite team aside from the Tampa Bay Bandits? God bless. Hey, God bless to you, Stock Speed Tech, as well. Second favorite team. I mean, my wife would have to go with Pittsburgh Maulers because that's a family thing. But again, I'm a Ravens fan, so I can't really pick the Maulers. Maybe New Orleans Breakers because of the logo might be my second favorite team. But I'm also really rooting for Birmingham as well. I think those would be my kind of 2 teams, the New Orleans Breakers and Birmingham Stallions, if I were to choose another team. But that's just because of logos. It'll be really what it'll come down to with the gameplay, the players, those kind of things that I would get excited about. Now, speaking of getting excited, what about... let's check out NewsHub Fantasy for some fun fantasy football stuff. So you could go to NewsHub Fantasy right now. This is the site right here. In the USFL section, you can join a league. You can create your own league. I've seen that there's a lot of private leagues now. People creating their own leagues and inviting their friends. When the season kicks off, we'll have the top teams for the week listed here and the top players listed here. That's fantasy players. Then we will have, so this is where all your league will sit. You can do a mock draft now. So before last week, you could rank your draft players, but now if you go to draft now, and I already did my mock draft, is the system and you will go through a draft. So that you can only select 1 QB and 1 kicker, and there's only 10 rounds because there is not enough players to finish a draft. I mean, you're talking, so here's the draft completed. These are the players that are left over. To give you an idea, there's not much to choose from. It almost needs to be maybe even 8 rounds. But here's my draft. This was just some fun that I had when I did my mock draft. I picked, always been going Jordan Tamu, number 1. Jeff Badette was in my Nick Truesdale from the XFL tight end. Picked him. Trey Williams, Larry Rose. I pick Austin McGinnis as a kicker. Remember, you only get to pick one kicker. And then Keith Humphreys, Eli Rogers, Darius Victor, and Tio Redding were some of the guys that I picked. Just playing around with the draft, letting the system pick picks for you. The computer will pick picks based on the ADP, and just to kind of get out there and look at players and just to kind of get you familiar with it. But you can go and do that if you would like, or you can go into your own league, as I did. We've got this dev league here that I'm working on. And once you're in the league, see it's got the draft data set. This will get cleaned up. You actually have a whole like chat room where you can send messages to each other. You can go into the pre-draft, and if you want to rank your players, see, I already went in and I ranked some quarterbacks and players that I wanted on my list. Jordan Tamu, Kyle Laletta, Brian Scott seem to be my top 3 quarterbacks that I'm interested in, and kind of I rank them all here. You can reset the list if you want, or just leave it. And there you go. So you can set your pre-draft, and then when the draft happens, you have your pre-draft list, or you have all the players and stuff. So right now we're working on the draft itself, and then the page, what happens afterwards. Those are the 2 things that we're working on this week, and hopefully be ready to start doing drafts. Oh, geez, on Saturday to really start doing some drafts. Now, the cool thing about this league also is that if you don't have to, the system will auto draft. So if some of these people don't show up for your draft, it doesn't mean the draft won't happen. The computer will just pick for them, because it's silly to just have to force everybody to be on at the same time. That's hard to do. And then people come on and off. So let the system auto draft for you. And then as each draft goes, we will get more data, and then that will fix the ADP so that the teams will be better. But you can see from the draft itself that there's not a lot of players left over after you make picks. So that is for NewsHub Fantasy. Just go to NewsHub Fantasy. We're not really promoting this out there. We're not posting it anywhere, really. When there's updates, you'll see it on XFL NewsHub's feed, and USFL NewsHub's feed on Twitter. Just trying to keep it low key, because the goal is for this season is to get through the USFL season. We don't know anything about an API, so we might have to hand jam stuff in there, see how it goes. Then we get into the CFL season. That will give us another chance to kind of refine things, make things better and better. And then you go into the XFL season, and the system would be ready to rock and roll. What I would like to do long term, I think it would be super fun, is to basically have you play the XFL, then you play the USFL, and then the CFL all in one major, league kind of thing. And I think that would be really cool. So I guess how you did in the XFL league would determine the draft order for the USFL league, and then so forth. And then, I don't know, just have fun with it. And you guys are part of this. So if you have ideas of things you want to bring to the table, then let me know, and I can add it to the system. We could do keeper leagues. We can do dynasty leagues, all different kinds of fun stuff. This is kind of the first season between the USFL and CFL to kind of get through the season, see how the system works, make refinements, make improvements, but really to be ready to rock and roll for when the XFL season kicks off. That is the goal, my friends. There. All right, let's get to your social media stuff. Let's see here. Russ says, hello, Mark. Have you heard anything about St. Louis regaining the Defenders? Was there a USFL Defenders League or something? Or a Defenders team? I don't know what he's talking about there. But okay. Not really sure about that. On the YouTube, Jeff says, Mark, I have an idea for an interview. Please interview a fan of the original USFL from the 80s. I was there experiencing a great league and would love to see a fan from that era and how they feel about the nostalgia. Now, I like that idea, Jeff. I'm a little concerned that the old school USFL guys, that I think is a great idea to do. We should probably do that after the season is over. Clearly, I think a lot of old school USFL fans are kind of meh when it comes to the USFL returning. but this will give them a chance to kind of consume the product, let them know what we see. Also, getting us past this lawsuit, because if the USFL, the new Fox USFL, wins this lawsuit and then this chapter is over, are they going to be like, hey, we're the old USFL too, and bringing back the old guys and kind of incorporating the league? Is this the lawsuit that they just need to get through to kind of get that done? So that I'm always thinking that that's why they didn't go there for when it comes to the USFL, getting as far as like the old USFL versus the new USFL. That's my take on that too. Plus, with NewsHub Fantasy, we'll definitely have a nice little ranking for the USFL fantasy. We'll have that coming up before the league kicks off, so it'll be a lot of fun. I think things are about to crank up. I think the world is watching the, we got Major League Baseball coming up. I'm even kind of excited about my fantasy baseball draft in the works. We have March Madness kicking in. That will take place on Thursday. So if these leagues want to get in some news, today the USFL put out 2 press releases, and tomorrow I would assume they'll do something about training camp. Wednesday, maybe the XFL will do something over the course of the next couple of weeks. But the USFL has gotten its thing, and they're ready to rock and roll. We will have players in Birmingham starting tomorrow. It's going to be exciting to see. And I know that the USFL is hiring a ton of people as we speak. So that's it for this week's show. We'll have a lot more to talk about as training camp kicks off next week. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Remember, if you like football, then smash that like button. Let's get to 10 likes on this video. That would be greatly appreciated. Help spread the word about the USFL. People were really into the draft, but then Major League Baseball, March Madness came. Everybody's kind of pulled back, but that doesn't mean that they won't jump all in, especially when you're simulcast on Fox and NBC at the same time. That's going to bring in huge numbers and huge interest. We're also, I'll put a little out there that we're working on a mobile app for USFL NewsHub. So just throwing that out there too. And we've got NewsHub Fantasy and so much more. So we're bringing you all the alt football news that you possibly can desire. So thanks to Stock Speed Tech for checking in. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, podcast at usflnewshub.com with your thoughts, or record an MP3 or video and leave it on your phone. We'll play it on next week's show. Leave a voicemail, 888-437-7692, extension 3. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Spread the word about this is only our 3rd show. USFL Week in Review is out there. We want to do that. And remember, you can watch live USFL Week in Review at 9 p.m. Eastern every Monday, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook there. Training camps is tomorrow, my friends. Training camp is tomorrow, my friends. Super excited about that. And that is it for me, folks. Thanks for checking in. Remember, smash that like button. God bless. We'll have some fun. This is going to be an exciting football season to watch. And I think we are just at the beginning of something really big, and it'll be really exciting. And fans are really going to get into it once this league kicks off on April 16th on Fox and NBC. All right, that's it for me, folks. God bless. And I will see you all later.